get started here. All right, we're in. Sensej and Draz representing their clans here. These are the newer player category, although I don't believe they're that new. I think these players have both been on the ranked. I've played one or both of them, and they're definitely pretty strong for newer players. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think both of these guys are pretty good. I think Seznedge plays ladder quite a lot.
Sure.
But Draz does not. He practices, but he has played less than 10 ladder games, I'm going to say.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how these guys line up, the ladder player and the non-ladder practicer. So we've got Draz down in the... Oh, excuse me here. Down in the center bottom, in the green. Representing the FxB here, the first game. And then up in the top, we've got Sensej, representing the Toad Road Gang, the Meme Clan. And look at these decks. Trumpet, if you want to comment on the decks that these guys have brought.
All right, so the first thing I know is that Draz really likes this deck. This is Draz's favorite deck. It's a very steady, slow-paced skunk snake deck that you get into Wolf Owl in the late game, and then you just overwhelm your opponent. That's the game plan.
Sure.
Doesn't require a whole lot of adjustment. You can just kind of be stable and play a really strong style.
Yeah, it looks like he's got all the units you need to kind of be safe. Squirrels are safe. Skunks and snakes can counter just about anything you throw at them, but maybe not enough to put on a lot of pressure, and then balloons are kind of safe.
Yep. And it's actually a really strong combo, I think. If you can get to the late game, you're in a really good spot.
Excellent. Well, it looks like by the opening, they're both going for 8 farm 2 Warrens, so Draz looks like he is going to not do anything too crazy to begin with. Get to grab that expansion moving towards the later game. How about the deck from yellow player here?
All right, so Sensej has a double tier 3 deck with Badger Boar. So
that is interesting.
Prediction is that he doesn't usually go for a Badger Boar combination, but this gives him the option to choose one or the other depending on the scenario.
That is interesting. So it's more flexible then, right?
Right. That would be my assumption, but it's totally possible that Sensej, I'm going to keep trying to say this name.
That's right.
Sensej wants to go into Volta, but
sure.
I definitely feel like the early game is more interesting from the yellow player because they have Squirrel Toad, which is a pretty potent tier 1 combo.
Yeah, and he's got some of each of them up right now. He's expanding a little bit later, but he's got a lot of tier 1s. So I think Draz had to kind of pull out his tier 1s to stay safe here because he saw how much Sensej had on him.
Yeah, and skunks are going to help Draz a lot here. They're going to keep him alive against the Squirrel Toad, or at least that's its plan.
Yep. Now, the piece of Sensej's army we haven't mentioned yet is the pigeons. Is that basically just for the Badger? Because the Badger does a lot of damage, but has a fairly low health. So pigeons are like almost required to keep it alive, right?
Right. That's my expectation for what the game plan would be.
So it looks like both these players are massing up tier 1. We've got a couple of skunks here to keep Draz safe, and it looks like he's confident enough to sell off a set of squirrels, and they're both trying to get a couple farms up on their expansion. And Sensej just going right for the boar. We'll have to see if that gets scouted here. Not yet. Oh. Alright, I think he saw it. Let's see, toggle visibility. Yep, looks like he saw it.
Yeah, so Draz has the snakes if he wants to
there you go.
Try to counter this.
So it looks like he has that exact thought in mind. He's gonna... Here we go. Gonna get a couple snakes down. Oh, alright, here you go. You get this double tier 3. Badger and boar. It's not very common.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I don't know how it's going to work. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
I'm expecting he's going to have to get pigeons, especially if Draz has got snakes. Yeah. Because the pigeons can kind of heal the snake tags, kind of counter those.
They're obviously very powerful units, so if he can get both of them out and have a good engagement,
Yeah.
They're strong, valuable tier 3, so having
On the
two of
other
them is
hand,
good.
he's invested a lot of money, and he hasn't even paid for the Badger yet. So if Draz attacks right about now, or maybe in a few minutes before those tier 3s pop out for Sensei, he's going to have a pretty big advantage on his army composition, his army size.
Yeah, the issue for Draz is that he doesn't have a composition that can really attack into this very well. It's pretty hard to attack with Skunk Snake, in my experience.
Right.
He'll probably want to just defend and try to be ahead on eco, is my prediction. Especially because I know how Draz plays, and that's kind of...
Sure. All right, well, we got the boar is out, so some of that opportunity just kind of passed up here. And Sensei just getting...
balloons are super cool from Draz. I like this a lot.
Good, so he's trying to hold off the push here. It looks like Sensei is getting a lot of pigeons to come out with that Badger that has just come out. Let's see if he can make this double tier 3 work, because that's pretty scary. That is really scary.
Wow, Draz is actually going to attack into this army.
I don't know if that's smart. He just invested in a balloon. Let's see how it goes. We got a lot of snake tags going down. If that boar dies without an army to kind of bomb into, that's kind of a waste of... Oh, he's getting away. Get him!
It's going to be the boar down.
Yep. Now, how much did it cost him to get in there?
You know, while all this is happening, it's interesting that in this game, Draz is actually behind economically.
Yes.
So,
Sensei just gotten his entire natural farmed up.
Yeah. It's interesting when the player who seems to be the aggressor actually has more farms. That's not a great spot for the defender, you know.
Yeah, it looks like Sensei just playing pretty well. He's taking his third now behind this pressure. And Draz just sold off his second balloon.
If Draz is able to get this wolf out, then that's pretty powerful. I'm not sure about this attack, though.
I think he's trying to get a pick-off on the Badger with those snakes.
Yeah.
And Sensei does have to pull back. It's pretty scary.
That was a good trade for Draz.
Yeah. Now, Sensei, what do you think about taking both of these expansions? Is that for vision, or what?
I'm not really sure. It's not going to change much. They'll probably farm up the closer one, or...
Yeah, it makes sense to farm up this one rather than trying to farm that one, especially if Draz is feeling comfortable pushing right across here. All right,
so the owl's been under production, but it's not going to be out in time for this.
Yeah, the board just popped out, and Draz is going around here. I don't think he's been seen yet. Got some higher ground. I think he might be even preparing for some kind of crazy base trade if Draz doesn't catch what's going on. In which case, Sensei will just win because he's got this...
Yeah, this looks really good for it. It says Sensei.
Yeah, absolutely. He's revving up that Badger. And this owl just got popped out and is about to get paid for and is going to get killed almost immediately.
The wolf is going to go down. The wolf born dies before anything gets built.
Yep, and Draz has to pull back, and he knows his game is over. Well played from Sensei there. Well played. I think you had a good point when you said the aggressor being ahead in farms kind of doesn't bode well for Draz there.
Yeah, I think that things kind of went off the rails when he pushed out after building the balloon wall and then chasing the boar instead of farming up behind his balloons.
Yeah, and he sold one of his balloons, but wasn't really committing to either the aggressive play or the defensive play. He was kind of floating in between. So I think he just has to stick with one plan and make it work, you know? Oh, we've got the exact same decks. Draz likes this deck, he knows how to play it, and Sensei's probably thinking, well, it worked one time, let's make it work the next time. That was almost a base trade, but I think Sensei was totally prepared for that possibility when he got those extra mills. So here we've got Sensei in the bottom right, and Draz up in the top left. This map is interesting. It's a lot more closed off than the last one.
Yeah, it's generally good for an owl player if you have a lot of bases you can secure easily.
Mm-hmm.
There's technically a way around the left side, but it's not. It's a tiny little path.
Yeah, you'd see. Is it down here? Like you can kind of go through here, through the water there, kind of cycle through this way, and then come out.
Yeah, assuming that path isn't used then Draz could secure 3 or 4 bases with his balloons.
Yeah, I'd say 4 if he sets it up right, but for sure
Yeah.
3. Now, I think that backdoor would make more of a difference if we had lizards in Sensedge's deck, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's kind of risky to run 2 tier 3s through a tiny choke point all the way around to the other side of the map.
Indeed. All right, so we've got 8 farm, 2 Warren again from each player here. Pretty standard. Playing
Probably
safe.
the most default opening in all of Tooth and Tail.
Yeah. Now, if you don't get a good scout, I hear 7 farm is a little bit safer just in case, but they're both able to scout each other pretty well, so 8 farm is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, if you're afraid of moles or like 5 farm double, you can always build a safety Warren, but as long as you're able to see what your opponent's doing, you don't need to.
All right, and they're both grabbing their expansion right away here. And the kind of interesting thing is if you keep checking up on your opponent, you can keep getting greedier and greedier to respond to your opponent's greediness. So we've got some skunks here. Draz just wants to be safe from any aggression.
Yeah, this is an interesting part of Tooth and Tail, which is that like you don't necessarily always want to be letting the game go into a super economic situation, depending on your deck. Like
Right.
Draz likes the late game, but he also has a lot of units to keep him safe. So if both players just throw down a million farms, then that kind of goes against his game plan. And for example, if you get to 16 farm together and both of you only have 2 tier 2 Warrens, 2 tier 1 Warrens, then you're just going to have enough money to build your tier 3s. And if you're building your owls at the same time they're building badgers, that's not super great for the owl player.
Right, so what you're saying is Draz's game plan is really designed to face off some aggression and be safe and then get into the late game rather than just rushing up.
Yeah, and he can kind of just slow the game down himself by building these tier 2s, and Sinsedge has to respect it. You notice he already built a balloon, he hasn't farmed up super aggressively. He's on 5 tier 1s, so that sort of decision-making seems to have worked out. He is going for a
interesting.
Badger, though.
Yeah, that is a really sneaky spot. We'll have to see if Draz is able to catch that. We've got...
And he's going to get both tier 3s as well again, but this time on a lower farm count.
Yeah, well, here's what I think about this. If Draz comes in and sees that boar, he's probably not going to assume there's another one, unless he's remembering last game. So he might not even bother going over here. So I think this is really clever to hide one and not hide the other.
I think that a good response from Draz here would be to take a lot more farms and then get into the snakes. But it's going to be hard to make that response if you don't see the tier 3s.
Right. Now, my initial reaction would be pop down an owl and a wolf right away to be able to have them ready, but I don't know if Owl Wolf really counters this double tier 3 anyway.
Yeah, the problem with that is, like you said, the tier 3s crashing into each other isn't super great for the Owl Wolf player right away.
Alright, so he totally saw that. He walked right by it, so let's see what his response is going to be, seeing both tier 3 Warrens. And it looks like he's going with my idea, which I'm going to probably guess is not quite a better... I mean, I'm not a great player, so... This owl is not going to be out in time if Sensedge just pushes.
I mean, the balloons will definitely play an important role in making this hard for Sensedge.
Sure, yeah. Especially since the boar doesn't damage balloons, right?
Exactly.
Which...
And the single target is just going to make it really hard for him to push. Like, Sensedge's army is entirely tier 1 and tier 3.
Yeah.
So the balloons single targeting the tier 3 and the skunks taking out the tier 1. It's still not easy for him to push in, even though he has the tier 1 advantage right now.
Right, but that requires the balloons to actually target the tier 3. If the balloons are wasting shots on squirrels or pigeons or something, that's not going to be as helpful.
There's another phenomenon with balloons, which is that it makes it really easy that, to be more accurate, to lose the commander. And if you lose the commander in these types of engagements, it's really hard to not have a terrible trade.
Yeah. Now, interesting from Sensedge, he's just grabbed these mills again. I wonder if he's setting up for some kind of base trade again, just like last game. Just having extra buildings in case. He could go around. Yeah, he's doing the same thing. So he's going to try to bomb in there and just kill everything. and Draz is forced to engage or lose a base trade. The wolf is out, though.
Wolf Owl is out, and he did adjust. He built a balloon off to the left to make it a little bit harder.
Yep, we'll have to see how these balloon chests go.
There's not a lot here for Draz to worry about. Like, there's not a lot that he can kill, just this mill with old farms.
Right. Yeah, that balloon is picking off squirrels right now, which is helpful, but it's not really the tier 3 hits we're looking for. It looks like that badger's staying alive pretty well. The pigeons are doing their work.
So close.
Yeah, yeah.
The snakes are out, which will be helpful for sure.
If you can micro them, right? So he's just diving in with the badger only, leaving the boar behind to kind of block the army off. Doing a lot of damage, taking out a lot of warrens here. We'll have to see how Draz recovers from this. What do you think of that engage overall?
Well, there's going to be a problem for Sensedge, which is he lost 2 tier 3s, so he has 360 food that is blocking his reproduction, and Draz has a unit that builds free units. So it's like the most disastrous remaxing situation you can imagine.
So Draz right here, he sold off all his balloons just to have the money to fund a lot of squirrels, 33 squirrels, and he's just going to go in and finish the job here.
Like so there's 360 food currently, not in the fight, so it's going to be really hard for Sensedge.
Yeah, and he sold off a bunch of tier 1s to try to buy back his tier 3s, but they're not going to be out nearly in time, so that definitely was not the right response. Well, although I think the game was really lost in that engagement up there, wasn't it?
There's going to be a tricky moment here, though, where there's going to be potentially an badger and a boar out, but it looks like Draz is going to get on top of it before they come out.
Yeah, I think he's worried about that exact thing, so he's making sure to take care of the situation. Yep.
And the badger gets out, actually, but it's just going to die.
Yeah, that hit thing has pretty low health, as all you viewers can see here. So Sensedge is going to try to be annoying here, but it's not going to be hard for Draz to just clean everything up. He's got a lot of stuff.
This game is over, but
for sure.
This was more what I would expect from this deck from Draz.
Yeah, this is the way he wanted to play it. I'll be interested to see if they go... Oh, the owl just got picked off. It doesn't really matter at this point, but that's interesting.
That is unfortunate. There's not enough money for Sensedge to start any units, let alone the badger.
Yeah, no kidding. If he had a huge bank, maybe, but...
Yeah.
All right, well played. So we had the same deck go both ways here. We're going to go to game 3. That's cool.
And I believe the scoring format is that only match wins count, so...
Yes. Yeah. So this game here at game 3 is going to determine which team gets the match point for this match.
The set, I guess, is what would be the best word to describe.
Sure, yeah. All right.
Sets and a match. That would be how I would say it.
So based on the statistics here, these guys are fairly evenly matched. One game each, I suppose.
I like how Sensedge is deciding what deck to play, and they're just hovering Toad, and they're like, what else?
So Draz was toying with the idea of an artillery cannon there. They play really differently from balloons, though, so...
Let's see, it looks like Sensedge is not entirely sure if they're going to run the badger again.
Yeah, it was pretty disastrous last game. Oh, he's going to go for it. Same deck 3 times in a row. Let's see which one can pull it out. Alright, so we've got Sensedge in the bottom here. Playing... excuse me. I'm looking at the wrong one. Here he is, in the bottom. Playing for the Toad Road gang. And he is fielding toads for representation. And then we've got Draz up here in the top left. This is a little bit closer spawns and a little bit more open. What do you think of this map here?
I think this map is really not straightforward for Draz, because if he expands away from his opponent, it's kind of a tough base to defend.
Yeah.
And if he expands towards his opponent, that's obviously going to make it a lot harder if it's versus a tier 3 push.
Yeah, so if Draz could maybe take this base, pop some balloons up, and have his skunks and everything set, he'd be fine. But Sensedge has this really nice expansion right here that's just perfect.
And in fact, Sensedge is actually 5-farm doubling, and Draz hasn't scouted it yet, so this is going to get dicey real fast.
Yeah, this could be a pretty conclusive end quick to the series.
And Draz isn't buying his warrens right at the moment he could, so it's pretty disastrous.
And there's already a couple squirrels out. He's going to scout this, and he's probably panicking right in this moment. He even tried to burrow it within range of the pig. He's got to sell something. He's got to sell that farm. Yep, there we go.
If Sensej pushes with this squirrel too early and loses it, it's going to be... Sensej has a huge advantage here.
Yes,
it's going to be up to...
He's got 4 squirrels ready to go. Let's just see how much damage he can do before Draz can hang on. That high ground is helping out the pigs, but only for that first shot here. Oh, he pulled away just a second too soon.
And you know what? Now they are even on farms, and Draz is ahead on economically. In fact, actually, Draz is going to be ahead economically because his 5th farm finished. And
so because Draz only sold 1 farm and he had the 7, Sensej really needed to do more damage than just 1 pig there. He could have taken out that second one, but looks like that didn't quite go as well as planned.
Yeah, Sensej waited for 4 squirrels on the low ground, and I think that you probably want to start poking faster.
Yeah, I think 3 is plenty.
And this rush distance is a little bit tough for Sensej. It's obviously a smaller map than last one, but not substantially smaller. It's not one of the tiniest maps you'll ever see.
Now, I really like this. Well, I liked the first skunk. I don't know about the second, but I liked getting that first skunk down right away because Draz knew that Sensej couldn't really push very well after that failed rush.
It's possible that Draz might be thinking that he'd like to do some sort of counter aggression. So,
yeah,
if you can get 4 skunks, that's a really potent composition against only tier 1.
Sure, that's really hard to pull off though. So, it looks like he's backing down from that idea and going for the expansion here. This is going to be a tough expansion to hold on the low ground. All that Sensej would have to do is get a balloon right there, and just Draz wouldn't be able to get those 3 farms. Am I right?
Yeah, he is expanding towards Sensej, which is very interesting. Sensej went for a tier 3, so he doesn't have a ton of squirrels, so it's actually kind of tricky for him to hold a skunk push.
Yeah, this wasn't quite the response Sensej needed to have here. Picks off a skunk. He's letting his squirrel sit in the gas for a while, so this is gonna hurt. And I think Draz should have pushed. Oh, he was just waiting for one more rally here.
Not enough money for the board to start, so he's gonna start putting skunk gas down and take out these pigs.
Yeah, I think that tier 3 Warren from Sensej was really a mistake. I think he should have tried to push this base and make Draz fight to protect it a little harder. But we'll see. Draz isn't punishing quite hard enough here.
And now the mill is under fire, so it's getting really tricky.
Yeah, it's getting pretty low, so Draz can kind of force the fight. Sensej has to protect this mill, or he's going to fall really far behind.
You know, Sensej actually got his swirls split on the mill, which was pretty nice for him, but it's just too much firepower with the tier 2s. Now the boar is 3/4 out, so...
Yeah, it might be just too late. The perfect timing for an attack like this is right before the tier 3 comes out.
Draz has to be super careful, though. If this boar pops, it might be able to push its way all the way across the map.
Yeah, it's true. Now, Draz has a bit of a bank. Never mind, he doesn't have. Misspoke.
Draz smells blood in the water, but he still has no idea about the boar. He has a balloon he can collect it. Oh no, he sold the balloon.
Uh-oh, that could be rough. So...
He just needs to, like, mill tank or something. He's so far ahead, he just needs to defend.
Yeah, he's got tunnel vision here. He's trying to finish the game because he knew how close he was, but this could be overextending.
Yeah.
This game is really back and forth. It's kind of cool. All right, back it up, Draz. You gotta kill the boar. Otherwise, it's just getting its value over and over again, right?
You know, if he loses the mill...
I mean, it's not the end of the world, because Sensej also doesn't have a second mill, right?
Draz started building a balloon, but then he sold it. I think sticking with the balloon might have been a reasonable option.
Yeah, because the boar can't hurt balloons, so that would be the perfect hard counter right there.
Does the boar go down here? Oh, Draz had so much firepower on it, but he backed up.
I think Draz could have just thrown this game, guys. I think...
Oh, it's so close.
Oh, get it! One more! Boar goes down, but I think Sensej is able to pull back into this game.
Alright, so here's my analysis of the situation.
Nice expansion.
Draz has a mill, and Sensej has not a mill.
Yes, and they both have enough of a bank that this mill is going to be okay. So Draz almost threw that game, but I think he's still going to be able to be ahead.
Well, now it's like it's kind of close. Like Draz has the army lead, and he's going to have the eco lead, but like Sinsedge is moving out with the squirrels right here, and
he doesn't have an army lead though, does he? I mean, he has one more Warren, but they're tied on squirrels.
Yeah. Draz is going for the counter attack.
I don't know. I didn't expect this to turn into a base trade.
I have no idea.
See, Draz had the advantage this whole time, and now he's just leaving it up to this little trade here.
Does Draz retreat? If Draz retreats right now, then it's super good for him. But if he lets Sinsedge chill,
yeah, he needs to finish off this mill. Go finish the mill off.
I don't know if
now Sinsedge is targeting these pigs down first too. So what do we got? I think
Sinsedge was targeting the pigs, not the mill.
Oh no! I think who took it?
Draz wins.
Draz wins. All right, and I think all Sinsedge had to do is kill the mill, not the pigs. Man, that was a really close trade. Look at this army value graph. Look at how far ahead Draz was, and then Sinsedge evened it up the minute that boar came out. That was insane. That was really cool. All right. So we have Sinsedge takes the win here. Wait, no, sorry, Draz. Man, Draz takes the win here for FxB. So that is 1 point on the board for the Fearsome Bearsloths. That was 3 games with the same set of decks. Very interesting. Draz almost clutching defeat from the jaws of victory. Yes, that is a perfect way of putting that. Excellent. The bomb is the bomb right now. Well played. GG's on both sides there. Well played.
Someone posted the lineups.
I've got them pulled up here in the caster zone.
Oh, yeah.
Casting zone. So it looks like we've got Winterload and Virtually Korean, since we had a swap there.
Right.
Now, I've played Virtually Korean on the ladder, and I definitely respect his play. I think we've each beat each other a couple of times. He's definitely got some strengths here, and Winterload is the leader of the Todor gang. Am I correct here?
I believe so.
Yeah. So this should be a really interesting match as well. These are both technically newer players in skill, but they've definitely both been playing long enough. They've got some stuff to show us. Draz, you barely pulled off that last-minute win there. The base trade was insane. I don't usually like base trades. I think, just in general in RTSs, I find them not interesting. But that one was pretty cool. That one was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was nuts. It was just like a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was really not sure who was going to take that one. So we've got Virtual Korean in here. We're just waiting for Winterload. I believe he had to restart his computer and get everything working here, but he did. I believe it was last week he had a little show match that, went pretty well. Thanks everybody for tuning in to the stream here. If you haven't, drop a follow. I'm doing mostly TNT right now, but I do, in the past I've done some Brood War. I like playing a lot of Brood War. I do some Dwarfheim. That's a newer indie RTS. It's kind of a co-op thing. If you guys haven't heard of that, it's kind of interesting. I usually do those on Tuesdays, whereas Sunday, Monday are Tooth and Tail these days. And if RTS ever gets too much for me, I switch over to Lord of the Rings mod Minecraft, which is a totally different experience. But yeah, drop a follow. Thanks for all those. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm doing another stream at 6 p.m. tonight, 6 p.m. CST. I'll be doing another exhibition match for the Clan Wars, and then playing some ranked, I believe, for Tooth and Tail. So don't forget to tune in for that if you can. Where's the I have legs emoji? I'll have to see what I can come up with.
Detected a pattern in the Todor gang.
Yeah, they like toads.
I believe that they like toads.
So these are pretty close spawns right here. We've got Virtually Korean in the bottom left. representing FxB. And we've got Winterload in the top left, representing the Toad Road gang with the Toads. Squirrel Toad versus Squizzard. They've each got... These are pretty balanced decks as far as... They've both got 2 tier 1s, 2 tier 2s, a tier 3, and a building. What do you think, Trumpet? Got a little more experience in that.
Virtually Korean is running the deck that is my favorite deck. And, however, it is kind of tough against Toads. So that's good for Winterload. Winterload has Falcon Skunk, which the Skunks will... Having Skunks and Falcons makes a little bit of sense because the Skunks tanking for the Falcons is some sort of like... It's a little bit of a synergy like in mid and late game if you're just building up big tier 2 death balls. I like Snake Skunk better, but also snakes don't scale and Falcons do scale, so that makes some sense. And then it's an owl deck, and owl decks are cool, so that's my understanding of these decks.
Excellent. Cool. So I've heard a lot about the combo with the barbed wire and the owl. Barbed wire allowing you to kind of tank up just a little bit before the owl comes out.
Yeah, the good thing for VK against that is that he has a boar, and boar is a great way to like just deal with barbed wire, because if you have to defend the barbed wire with your owls or your other units, the boar's splash damage actually kills barbed wire.
Yeah.
So
now,
it's a good synergy.
I saw recently, I was looking at the preseason championships that Gentleman was playing against. Who was that? He's on my team too. What's his name? Anyway, so there was a bunch of owl play, and the Gentleman was really brilliant in how he baited out the owl's mice right before a fight, and with that micro, he was really able to just crush. So I'd be really interested to see some of that with the owls. For example, if Virtually Korean can just use a set of lizards to pull out the mice, and then use the boar to roast them, then suddenly Virtually Korean has a bigger army in that kind of situation, right?
Yeah, that's definitely something you can try to micro. Now, this is a Toad Squirrel push, which is pretty tough to deal with if things don't go your way.
Yeah, Virtually Korean is only just getting his lizards out, which the Squizzard is kind of cool against the Toad because you can split the army, but they only just popped out, so looks like Winterload's pulling back.
I think that Virtually Korean was really patient there, which is really good. You don't want to just move into the Squirrel Toad because all your units will bunch up.
Yep.
And then you're...
Yeah, all your squirrels die, and then Winterload just has a bunch of squirrels to do damage. Yeah, that was well played on both sides. Neither one really wanted to commit and lose anything. This game really is it's hard to attack in this game.
Yeah. Being good at attacking is a pretty advanced tactic. Now, VK is going for a backstab with the lizards.
This might work pretty well, or it might backfire if Winterload hops on the attack there. Okay, this has actually worked out really good for VK. Excellent.
Now he has to somehow survive, though. There's a big World Toad skunk push coming.
This counterattack could really hurt. The skunks are going to be a perfect combination, or a perfect...
The Chameleon coming out is so clutch. It killed so many tier 1s. It's insane.
Yeah. Oh, there's another Chameleon about to try to chase off that skunk. Skunk goes down, alright. This was barely held by VK. That was really cool. Perfect timing.
The Chameleon actually tanked a lot of the Toad hits, so that was pretty strong.
Yeah, that kind of saved the day there for VK. And Winterload is still sitting with the 3 farm loss he got from that harass. So I'm giving the advantage to VK right now. Nope,
and now his army's just pushing through.
Hopefully he doesn't lose that Chameleon before it can heal up here. So now we're going to have to see how Winterload kind of pulls back from that loss of economy. VK is going to be able to keep poking with the lizards, which is a really cool... this is not a good engagement for Winterload. Yeah, it looks like VK is just pulling ahead, using his lead to do a lot of damage here. He might just pull this game. Definitely a well-thought strategy, or a little bit of luck, or some of both.
He's focusing the mill. Is it going to go down? And the mill, that's huge.
Yeah, that should be game, especially since these 3 farms are gone for Winterlode on his home mill. I don't really think there's much he can do. Unless VK is pulled out of position and makes a mistake, but lizards are pretty quick. They can come home quick. So he's just checking and making sure. Yeah, he knows he's far ahead. Is there anything, if you were in Winterlode's situation, what would you do? Well, I guess surrender, huh?
The game is pretty well decided. I think that the Squirrel Toad stuff was actually pretty strong, and he didn't commit to it.
Yeah.
They had a Squirrel Toad army just chilling in front of a Squizzard army, and in general, I think, even though I like Squizzard and I praise it all the time, I think that it's hard for the Squizzard player, right? The Squizzard player has to do a lot to make it work.
Yeah.
And the Squirrel Toad player can kind of just A-move because
Squizzard only is good because you can micro it. So if you don't micro it, it's not got its biggest advantage anymore, right?
Yeah, I think that Winterlode had a good idea with the Squirrel Toad push. I think one thing that a lot of Squirrel Toad players have is Chameleons as well to support.
Yeah.
And so like Squirrel Toad Chameleon is just so strong against Squizzard.
Right.
If in like equal numbers, it just obliterates Squizzard. So the Squizzard player kind of has to be ahead already.
Sure. So I think that game overall, it was VK pulled off a good harassment, and then there was a couple of attacks from Winterlode that just didn't quite finish VK. Like VK was able to just barely hang on and keep that lead, which is really, really a good play on his part.
Yeah, and if Winterlode was going to go into the Skunks, then potentially an idea would have been to go Skunk Squirrel Toad and then do a little bit of a later push with the Skunks as well. And have that way the micro is a little bit trickier for the Squizzard player even still, because you don't want to get your units stuck on the Skunks or in the Skunk gas when they need to be clearing out the tier 1.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it is scary to deal with an opponent who has lizards that can do those counterattacks. I've definitely lost a lot of games to that kind of annoying harassment.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, but when VK lost all of his lizards doing the run by, someone would have to go back and look at it, but it feels like maybe if Winterlode had pushed the issue immediately, they would have had such an army lead that they would have gotten a lot of damage done on the fresh base as well. So there's stuff to think about.
Absolutely. Yeah, Winterlode almost had the advantage there. So here we've got Virtually Korean in the bottom. There's a little bit of space behind him, but it's basically dead space, except for hiding a tier 3 Warren. And we've got Winterlode way up in the top corner there. So a bit of a longer rush distance. And they're both going for 8 farm 2 Warren into an expansion from VK. Which is excellent in this situation, I think, because that expansion is going to be pretty easy to hold. There's a bit of a backdoor he has to think about, but otherwise, VK's got a really nice spot here. What do you think of Winterlode's spot?
Well, it's actually pretty neutral because neither player has structures, right? So you can't really cut up the map. So both players are going to have these big, giant death ball armies.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, push your base advantage in that scenario.
Yeah. It's interesting how similar these decks are. We've got Squirrel Toad versus Squizzard, and then they both have snakes, but one has the skunk and the other has chameleon. And then they both have the badger pigeons, so I would really love to see badger versus badger play here. I think that would basically give the edge to the better microer, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So this is actually interesting because it's 2 different theories of how to play badger, kind of.
Okay.
I feel like VK's deck is I want chameleons and I want a badger and I want to be fast and aggressive. But Winterlode has Skunk Snake, which is super slow and defensive. So it says to me more that Winterlode wants to expand a lot and get into a more mid-late game Skunk Snake Badger composition, which is really this strong, chunky army that can't be broken easily.
Right. We'll have to see if those 2 ideas can really compete here, because looks like they've both taken their expansion with 3 farms, but VK is getting his Badger already, and he's got Pigeon Warrens down.
Yeah, it's funny because you can talk about deck theory all you want, but VK is doing an 11 farm Badger push, which you only need 3 units in your deck to do that.
Right. So we'll just have to see. He's paid for the Badger. It's already a 3rd done, isn't it?
Yep. And so this usually hits around 4:15, I think is the general timing of this. If you do it off of 2 of Warrens, I think you built a 3rd tier 1, so it's going to be a little bit later. That's fine.
I don't think Winterload knows what's up. I don't think he's seen that.
Pushing into VK might be a big mistake here. Pushing right before tier 3 pops, it's always unfortunate because you feel like you're doing great.
And then the tier 3 pops. Yeah. These pigeons are already doing work helping the squirrels kind of stay alive here. So here's the tier 3. And Winterload doesn't have much left in this push. So I think you hit the nail on the head here. VK has his badger.
The snakes are out, which makes it hard. You know, the badger player has to respect the snakes.
Yeah, but there's only 2 of them, about to be 3. 4, 5, 6 snakes is definitely a lot scarier than 2 or 3. Especially with 6 pigeons set, so... Yeah, respect, but not fear, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a timer on VK, so he wants to be getting aggressive.
Okay, those toads just got mowed down. Excellent play from VK. I think he just used the badger to target... Oh, that's gonna hurt. It's a lot of snake tags. That badger's gonna go down.
Yeah, I think the mistake here from VK was that the mill got targeted by the badger, and the badger was kind of a lost cause because there were so many snakes. So it might have been better just to use the badger revved up to wipe out as much as he could.
Yeah.
On the ground.
Yeah, this is looking pretty bad for VK right now. He doesn't have a whole lot of economy left.
Winterload, and all of the tier 2 died.
Yeah, that's true. It's getting really scrappy right now.
Yeah, it looks like these reinforcements are just going to be enough for Winterload, though.
Yeah, I think VK needs to sell off that badger and try to survive now. Yep, there we go. But that might be a little too late.
Yeah, the fresh mill goes down, so
yep.
No mining for VK.
Yeah, so I think that came down to micro. I think VK really targeted on the toads really well with the badger, and then it just, yeah, you said it was targeting the mill and then got a lot of snake tags, so I think VK really just lost the badger fight there.
It's really hard to know if it's a badger fight where you're supposed to dive the badger once it's rev and kill as much as possible, or it's a badger fight where you're supposed to pick stuff off and keep it alive with the pigeons.
Yeah, it's really hard decision making there. Good game though. Good game. We've got a 1-1 again on the second game.
Yeah, Winterload getting the snakes out was really important. So
sure. Okay. So snakes are really the way to go.
Good stable play. I like to see it.
All right. Let's see who can take game 3. We've seen really good play from both sides here. VK was really dominating in that first game. In the second game, I think he made a couple mistakes, and Winterload is not to be underestimated either. Got Winterload in the far right, and Virtually Korean in the top left. I like this base for both of them. They've both got a really nice expansion. What do you think?
Sorry, let's see.
They both
the good news for Virtually Korean is that this deck doesn't really require an incredible base layout. You just need some expansions, generally.
Okay.
So he should be happy. Winterload, this little ridge above his second base, or the forward base.
Yeah, you can actually get onto that, which might be used against him. There's a Brood War map I'm thinking of called Heartbreak Ridge, where right behind your natural expansion there's a thing just like that. And man, it hurts when you can't see up there, and then suddenly there's like siege tanks or cannons or something on top of it shooting down all your workers.
Yeah, but overall, this feels like a pretty neutral map.
Yeah. Now, I want to see Virtually Korean use the fact that he has a structure and Winterload doesn't, to try to kind of maybe play defensively until he gets that board up. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, this deck, you kind of survive on Squizzard. The balloon is for when you get a map where it feels like you could easily cut the map into a really advantageous situation.
Yeah, so this one doesn't really look like that, though.
Now, if Winterload goes for a really fast Badger, or is doing some sort of tier 2 push and VK feels like he needs the balloon to survive, that's the sort of situation where you'll see the balloon come out, generally.
Oh, okay.
There's other decks where you have the balloons solely because you do intend on using it to help get to your tier 3, but I don't believe this deck is one of them.
Okay. So it looks like he was just checking to make sure things were going normally over here, and they are. Got 3 Warrens down for each of them and a couple of farms. Virtually Korean's just a little ahead on the farms over here. Oh, never mind. It's about even.
Yeah, generally the Squizzard player likes to try to be ahead a farm or two at all times, just because having tier 1 as your defense means that it reinforces really fast.
Right.
So you're a little bit safer against things with tier 2s and stuff. But that's part of the reason Squirrel Toad is such a threat to you, is because it's another tier 1 comp that can be fast and aggressive.
It looks like Virtually Korean is always grabbing his next farm just a second ahead of Winterled, so it looks like you're spot on there with that.
Skunk's coming out for Winterled first, which is interesting.
Yeah, I like that. I like that clip there. You can kind of see what's going on. Not good shot at. That's cool. Now I'd be really interested to see when we finally get some push-outs. Are they going to come right through the quick distance here, right through the water, or are we going to have any backstabbing around the rest of the map? Because I could see like that whole half the map over here not really get used.
Yeah, both of these decks might end in fast, like 2-base plays, so it's hard to say if the rest of the map will be used. Now, normally you see these pushes, and Winterlode is going for a quick Badger, so they're probably going to push with it. Usually you see these pushes go towards the fresh bases.
Now, did VK see that? I think he did. Like, I'm zooming in on VK's vision, and it looks like he knows it's there. So, yeah, I think he saw it.
Yeah, and VK is ahead on farms, which is what you want to be when you're facing off against a tier 3 that's faster than yours. Yeah. I think it does think he's going to go for the boar himself.
Okay, so the boar, that's an interesting response because it'll be a little later. It'll be a little later than actually quite a bit later than the Badger. The Badger's already a third done already. But all he has to do is hold off until it comes out.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky. If all of the supporting army to the Badger dies to the Squizzard Chameleon, which is a really potent combination, then the Badger won't be able to get a lot done by itself. But if enough survives and the Badger's left alive, then the Badger might just wreck house.
Yeah. Doesn't look like Winterlord actually scouted that boar. But his Badger is out, so I bet he should push in right about now. Oh no! What was this?
It's very interesting. VK's selling the Badger, selling the boar, and going into Mass Chameleon.
Yeah.
Which, Chameleon Squizzard is a composition that can fight a lot of things. So,
here we go. I was wondering about this counterattack here. But I think VK knows what's up. He scouted that the army wasn't at home.
It's not the worst decision I've ever seen. I'm really interested to see how it's going to play out.
Yeah, now I think it would have been better if Winterlord had actually seen the boar and expected it. But alright, that's a lot of tier 1. And can this Badger get out? I don't think so. I think he needs to just pull away.
Oh, it's close.
Oh, man. That is so close. I think VK really needed that to just kill the boar, or the Badger. He needed that to kill it.
Yeah, he definitely overextended. He lost a lot of units. If he had stayed back, he would have had another round here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely scrambling here. I think Winterlode's quick push is working. I mean, VK did a little tech switch, but I think it was just a touch too late. Here we go. Both armies are kind of beating their heads into each other again. Good Badger micro. Keeping it revved up. That's not enough lizards, not even close. I think Virtually Korean is just going to peter out here. There's a lot of pigeons healing that Badger.
Badger surviving this long is just disastrous for VK.
Yeah, even if it died now, it's already gotten its value. Yeah. That was a solid strategy from Winterlode and well executed. How do you think this would have gone if VK had kept his boar?
Well, that would have been one way to do it. I think that, honestly, the first fight went pretty well for VK. If he had just preserved his army instead of chasing the Badger, I think this would have been a really hard situation for Winterlode. But Winterlode's got it now.
Yeah. Well played. VK, I think, is just kind of processing his loss. waiting for any kind of blunder. But all right, Winterload takes it. That's a point for the Toad Road gang. The leader showing his strength. Good games. So I believe that is a point to each team here. Toad Road gang has a point from Winterload, and FxB has a point from Draz. Badger is so fun, he says. Yeah, good games. Badger's hard, man. It's fun, but it's scary.
Let me see. I think Bomb is the Bomb is our next player versus Goris.
Bomb and Goris. I've played Goris. He 3-0'd me in a best of 5 last week. So I definitely respect his play for sure. I have not seen Bomb play, but these are the more advanced players, so this is going to be a pretty killer match. Where is the lobby? The lobby is... Trumpet, where's this lobby at?
Password is Clan Wars.
There you go.
I think
Clan Wars, all lowercase.
I think that Bomb is here, but BK and Winterload are still in the player slots.
Bomb's the Bomb. I guess you got to play soon. I'll mention that you had a comment earlier I wanted to comment on. But what is the score? It is 1-1. Draz took the first match and Winterload took the second. So, yeah, and both of those are really close games. So this is actually pretty evenly matched on those newer players. Let's see if the more advanced players can take things one way or the other. Or if we're going to go to an ace match. All right, Bomb is the Bomb is in, representing FxB, playing Hopper, red. Goris, I popped the password in the chat there. Clan Wars.
So Bomb is a player who played one season of TNT League and made it, I believe, to the finals or the semifinals. I don't remember, of the beginner league.
Oh.
And
what year was that? Was that last year?
That was two seasons ago. So not last season, but the season before that.
Okay. So he was a beginner then and got pretty far. So he's kind of up and coming.
He reached the point where they would promote you to intermediate. And then he stopped playing. So he hasn't played for a long time. He's played practice games with me and the clan a little bit. So
how is his form, you think?
I think he's good. I mean, he's always been a strong player.
Sure. All right. A natural.
Also a master StarCraft player, so
StarCraft 2?
Got some default RTS expertise.
You know, that really does help. I can speak for myself and my two brothers, Lupus and Cavernus. They've always played a lot more Tooth and Tail than me. I played it like for a second and then didn't for a while. But I've always been a bit of a better RTS player, and I have a lot of StarCraft Brood War experience. And they're already nervous about me playing this game a lot. They're like, no, this is the game we have to beat you in. You can't get good at this game. Especially Cavernus. But they're better than me, no worries. For
having the Brood War background was really strong, though.
Yeah, I've found a lot of ways for it where it kind of applies. No worries, though. I'm still not that great. I do play later today. I'm casting at 6 o'clock. It's going to be my team, the Lizard Wizard clan, Lizard Wizard Magic clan, excuse me, against a new clan imposed entirely of new players, the Fox Babies. So that'll be today at 6. I'll be playing one of the matches, but I'll be casting all the others, and I think I'll talk as I play as well. Got a couple of replays and everything. I've got an @ in the chat. What's up? Oh, Rage quit. Well, I'm glad he's back. So we'll see. We'll see if Bomb's the Bomb this time around.
I have a funny image involving lizards that Bomb sent me one time that I think I'll send you some at some point. It's pretty hilarious.
Sure, yeah. All right, so we've got a triple tier 1 from Bomb. He's got the Squizzard and a mole. Now the mole could be used to mole rush or to do kind of a timing attack where you get a bunch, like a chameleon or two and a bunch of tier 1s, and then as you push out for the attack, you pop down some moles, and it suddenly becomes a pretty potent force. So I'm really interested to see what he does with this. I believe moles used to be a lot more in the meta, and lately they were nerfed and they're not as much, but they still...
He's got a full rush.
Oh, alright. So we've got Bombs the Bomb down here in the bottom, and Sternlacey, aka Goris, up in the top. Which does he prefer?
I think Goris. Oh my god, this
no. Oh, he just... what?
He sold the farm, so that's actually fine for Bomb.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's pretty normal to lose a mole, cause a farm sale. That's like pretty... It's worse now.
So that wasn't like an all-in, like, I'm gonna kill you. That's just, I want to get a little ahead in economy here.
In fact, Bomb actually started his 6th farm a tiny bit faster, so it's like, what's the difference?
So it looks like it's about a wash. They've all got their 8... They both got their 8 farms. And they have about the same amount of food, so... That was the odd scenario of a rush strategy not really giving either side an advantage.
Yeah, it looked like that mole was going to just kill that farm, and it was so close. One more hit, and that farm would have died, and that would have been a big advantage for Bomb.
Sure, yeah. My moderator is chewing me out for not paying attention to the chat. Sorry, guys. Is everything all right now?
We're casting. Was there an issue?
I think it was Sternlacey taking a while to get in, trying to ask for help here. Thanks for keeping me honest.
So, unfortunately for Bomb, Goris is running a lizard-only deck, and I know that Bomb doesn't like lizards. It's a known fact, and it's not that he's bad against lizards. It's just that if you can ever play the unit that you know your opponent doesn't like, that's a good way to get into their head.
Oh, I do that to Cavernus all the time. He hates toads.
That'll do it. And it's Squirrel Chameleon against Lizard Snake. Now, I think that if Bomb goes into his own Squizzard against us, that'd be pretty strong.
Yeah, if he got a couple lizards himself, kind of diversify his army a little bit. Looks like both of them are just kind of expand and get a couple... They've got one tier 2 Warren up, and they've got some tier 1s. Just trying to play safe. This game is interesting. This game is interesting where you can like threaten an attack without actually doing the attack. Like you can place down some Warrens and the other player's like, oh man, you could attack me, and then nothing ever actually happens. And it looks really tame, but it was actually almost... I don't know, I'm not really putting it very well.
Yeah, like you can... Because you can sell for full, there's like a constant fear that your information you've just received is not actually accurate.
Yeah. That's like the biggest difference between this game and StarCraft 2.
I was gonna get Campfire, and that's a free 60 food. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a really good idea to grab that. I mean, he's got all the farms over here he can grab for food, so... So it looks like Bomb is going up to 4 chameleons. Or is...
Oh, this is nice. He placed his chameleons in the other access point, so a lizard run by isn't an option. Or it would be a bad option.
Right, yeah, not as potent.
Now, Goris is going into Snake, Lizard, Toad.
Yeah.
I have never seen them. Not saying it's bad, I don't know.
Lizard Toad is not very common.
Yeah, Lizard Toad I've seen. Lizard Toad Snake. Don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. I'd like to see Bomb pull out his lizards, but he's dropped his tier 3 all the way back here. This is a pretty scary little army from Goris. So let's see if Bomb can kind of keep him back for a second. Get that balloon up.
Both players going for a balloon. Goris will probably go into his ferrets, if I had to guess, behind the balloon.
Oh, he just sold off something here.
Yep,
there you go. Right on time.
Now, there are snakes, which are obviously good against the boar, but if the whole tier 1 gets obliterated by the boar, that's not a huge deal. And this balloon's going to go... That's a really good pick-off from Goris.
Oh yeah, I was waiting for that. I was like, you got snakes. Go kill that balloon. Now, interesting map setup here. If Bomb had gotten his lizards, he could have done some sneaky stuff here, because the map kind of has 2 different paths, but he didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Bomb is playing this with the lizards as if they could be an alternative way to open. Like he could just cheese with the lizards.
Right. That snake just picked off a mole in there. Looks like Bomb is trying to get the attack up here, right?
The boar is going to be coming out, but it's a balloon snake. It's going to be hard to push into this for sure.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a big swell of units from Bomb. He's used moles to get his army value built up as fast as possible.
Yeah, that is pretty scary. But
doesn't want to lose the commander to the balloons, though. That'd be disastrous.
Yeah. Goris did see the moles coming, though, so let's see how this goes.
This boar is destroying everything.
Yeah, and if it goes down, it's gonna... It's the little boar... Oh, he should put it forward. Oh, his commander died. That was a lot of damage, though.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Bomb to get critical damage here, but we'll see.
Yeah, he also invested in a boar that could easily just get killed here, if he's not careful. Of course, looks like that Warren got some damage. Well, his army was getting chewed up, so Goris is going to hold.
That was close, but after holding there, Goris is just in a huge lead.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think, like I said, Bomb's losing the commander there was a pretty big disaster, because he could have kept the boar alive after killing basically everything.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So he sold off the boar to have money to try to fund another push, but looks like Goris has his own boar, and a boar against a bunch of tier 1s. Who wins? Yeah, this is going to be rough. Goris is going to pull ahead here. Not even close at the end there. Yeah, really good game, though.
GG to Goris.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked Bomb's idea of that push. It just needed to work, and it didn't quite work. Let's see how it goes. Goris is either going to crush, or Bomb's going to pull it back. And we've got our first game this series with more than one structure in a deck. Bomb is going to do the old barbed wire balloon here.
This map immediately seems reasonable for Bomb.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
They're both owl decks, though.
Yeah. I mean, look at this ridge right here. Bomb just gets to hold one choke and have 4 bases. I like this. It's very comfortable. Especially with the structures he's gotten. So we've got Bomb up here in the top, and Steer and Lacey, aka Goris, in the bottom here, and he's got a little bit more of an interesting situation on the map. Now, if the map does get cut in half, Goris has 5 bases down here, whereas Bomb has 4. So in a super late game, with the balloons cutting everything in half, Goris could have an advantage, but I love the way this looks.
Yeah, the advantage to Goris is definitely just the extra mill, but just geometrically seems more solid for Bomb.
Yeah, and I don't think he quite has the deck to really take advantage of it.
It is funny that they both go owl in a situation like this.
Yeah, yeah. I'd love to see both of them get up to a later game with owls. That'd be a lot of fun. So far we've got standard play, the 8 farm 2 Warren, nothing crazy.
I like how neither of them have their Warrens placed in the most expected way. Like they're just kind of cockeyed, and one's on the high ground, one's on the low ground.
Yeah, I wonder if that kind of gives away any kind of nervousness. Like, did Bomb misclick this one because he was a little nervous, or is it just whatever?
I think Bomb just throws Warrens down as fast as he can, so he doesn't bank any food. I don't know why Goris did it, but probably because he's going to go 3 Warrens, so he can put 2 on the low ground.
Yeah.
I just think it's a funny.
Yeah, it is funny. I do like having vision of the high ground, though. I tend to do that with Warrens as well. So we've got snakes coming out for Goris here, and skunks are already down for Bomb. Snakes are definitely pretty scary for skunks to deal with, but the skunks can keep the squirrels out, so I'm not really sure if we're going to be able to see a whole lot of aggression here.
Bomb needs to be super careful. He's down a Warren, and he's gone to triple farm.
Yeah.
Again, I think skunk squirrel's fine against snake squirrel, but you need to have more on the ground.
Right.
Now, Goris doesn't look like
Goris is instead going for the balloon.
Yeah.
They both go for the balloon. It's just so interesting to watch these players play.
Sure. Yeah, there's Bomb's getting that extra squirrel warren up. You can afford to be, for defender's advantage this early in the game, you can't really afford to be down a warren, but down just one tier 1 warren you can kind of hold.
Yeah, with the balloon, the skunk, and the squirrels, I think that it's hard for Goris to push here. There's more potent versions of snake pushing that could be harder to deal with for Bomb here. Yeah. But the thing is, if all the skunks get gas down, then the snakes can pick off stuff, but it's not super grand.
Yeah, and that barbed wire is really sealing the deal there. Goris is going to have to commit hard to get through there. If there was a back door or anything for those snakes to do any damage, that would be cool, but there's not, so Bomb can kind of feel pretty safe here for a while.
Once the barbed wire goes down, it's really hard for the snakes to do anything. Now, ferrets can shoot over the barbed wire, but
yeah,
it's a really interesting scenario. I don't know.
Well, Bomb is really trying to scout here, or not. I think you just wanted to make sure that there weren't bases being taken here. Balloons are probably the best building for denying scouting. Am I right?
I'd say so, yeah. Balloons are also really nice against ferrets.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, ferrets don't even damage them once they're up, and they have the range to shoot the ferrets down, so... Let's see what this attack does. I like the position for Bomb, but he's got to hold it to make it work.
You know, I was going to say, really good from Goris picking off the balloon, but he also stacked some toads for it, so not as great as it would have been, but still.
Yeah. Oh, did Bomb have a balloon here that I didn't catch?
Yeah, it was between 2 pieces of barbed wire.
Gotcha. So he's trying to do a little work here with the ferret. Ferrets are so annoying. They don't do that much, but they force the other player to deal with them. Because if you ignore them, they will start doing a lot. You know?
Yeah, the good news for Bomb here is that he was the first person to pull the trigger on the owls. He also has the farms on his third first.
Right.
Which is really...
So
if he could get a balloon down somewhere out here to push these ferrets away for real, that's... But this owl is, like, cooking away, you know? It's like...
Yeah. So Bomb is just a touch ahead in economy and in the tier 3 race. They both have 2 owls up now, going for 2 owls.
Using the skunks to keep the ferret shots off of the mill, which is really nice.
Yeah.
The ferret's actually collateral one of the barbed wires, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Goris is a little behind overall, but he just has to get value off of these ferrets, and he'll be all right.
It's going to be tough because it's 2 owl warrens now. The second one is also ahead for Bomb. And it's also, is this skunk gonna die?
4. 4 owls. That's gutsy. I don't think this is a good time to push, though.
I mean, you got 2 toads, so...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, mice and toads, the mice are great because they're free units, and the toads are not, so...
Use to protect this mill.
Yeah, or go for that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other...
He did already invest in 3 farms, so that's definitely a win for Goris. And he's going to try to do the same thing over here. If he can get that balloon, yeah, that balloon's dead. Yep. Nice.
I mean, Goris probably can't do anything about Bomb farming here, and Bomb is going to have his owl production just cooking.
Yeah, the ferrets are doing their job, but is it enough? Is it going to be enough? Goris is keeping his toads back. Nice job there.
Alright, so it's going to be 2 owls for Bomb, 2 owls for Goris, and a 3rd owl warren finished for Bomb.
Yep. Now Goris is ahead on economy now, but he can't really poke here anymore. What would you like to see from Goris? Would you like to see more owls? How does he pull ahead here using his economy?
Yeah, just owls. At this point, he doesn't have skunks, which is one option that can help you against owls, because having your skunks push the mice away is super strong.
Right. Looks like he did get a 3rd owl here.
At this point, I think both players are just going to spam owls and try to eco. The hard part for Bomb is that he can't really farm. He needs to farm hard, but he's always afraid of the ferrets.
Yeah, I mean, he could farm more over here because he's got that balloon. If he could get another balloon up by this farm, he'd be safe to take it again.
Goris might be too afraid to use the ferrets now though, because there's always threat of a big owl skunk counterattack.
Yeah, do the mice kind of pick off the ferrets before they can do much?
Well, if the ferrets move away, then it's just like you need your commander there to make sure things don't go sideways.
This is so funny to watch little mice just duking it out. Hey, thanks, Winterload.
So the 4th owl is underway. They're both going up to 5 owl warren. Bomb is just too far behind in the economic game, I feel. I don't think he knows that there's a mill down here.
Yeah, and scouting is tough in this situation because there's so many balloons and an army to try to run by. Yeah, he's just not going to see it.
So this is going to change how he plays, I think, for sure. He'll probably farm up hard. The good news for Bomb is if this goes to starvation, he has this fresh mill because he hasn't been able to take it.
Right, but so does Goris over here, so I don't know. I think taking out this mill with the ferrets earlier really let Goris pull ahead. Oh man, this is a lot of owls. This is exactly what I wanted to see in this game.
Bomb might sell his squirrels and go into... He also has some balloons that are not necessary for the defense. So all of that food could go into owl production.
Now, what would you say about... Goris has a lot of snakes here, which can be useful against owls. And Bomb has the option to get snakes. I'd kind of like to see him use those.
I think when it's owl versus owl, the snakes are actually kind of dead weight.
Oh, okay.
I think that the problem is that the mice are... The DPS of the mice is still higher than them.
Goris disagrees with you here. Look at that.
Snakes with owls are a good synergy against someone who doesn't have owls, in my opinion.
Right.
But owl versus owl, I don't quite know what the play is with the snakes.
Yeah. Now, he's investing in a lot of snakes, so we'll have to see if that can pay off. Because he could just get all of the owls in one Miss Micro moment from Bomb. Or, like you say, they could be just wasted money.
I can put it in the simplest terms, which is snake are not owls.
Oh, okay, sure. So instead of all that money in snakes, just get more owls like Bomb did here.
Yeah. And if you win the mice waves, then that's just...
Is that kind of what this is? Is trying to just end up with more mice to do damage?
And then you'll see Bomb pull his skunks forward every once in a while, because if he can use his skunks to affect the mouse waves, then he can get some actual damage.
Sure, yeah. And the snakes aren't really doing that much against mice, because they have so low health, the snake tag is kind of pointless, right?
Yeah.
The ferrets are doing some work, though, because of a couple of ferret bombs in the middle of a...
Squirrel dying there, a few squirrels died, so it's a tiny difference, but it's something.
It's so hilarious that the only things dying here are the free units, so it's like a constant fight that doesn't actually matter. Oh, there's a lot of extra mice here for green.
It really does feel like he could sell some of his balloons and some of his squirrels and get even more owls.
Yeah. I think the scary thing is if you sell a lot and get only owls, then what hard counters like owls by themselves?
Well,
falcons, right? But if neither have those.
Yeah. I mean, if you're able to push straight through, you'll just take out too much infrastructure.
Right. Now, speaking of infrastructure, Goris is getting a bunch of balloons up here. It looks like he knows he's got the extra mill. He's just going to play defensively. Bomb is ahead on the owl count right now, though, so this could hurt.
Do you see actual units are dying every once in a while from Goris? You see that his squirrel count is rebuilding?
Yes,
that's
and
just
the snake.
That's food that isn't helping as the game evolves. Which Bomb has to make up a lot of ground, right? Because he's been down farms forever.
Yeah.
But if he can make up enough ground that he can play the starvation game, then he should be advantageous there. Because he hasn't even started farming his last mill. He hasn't even put extra farms down on one of his mills. He has so many star farms, it's insane.
Yeah. This is really interesting. I've never casted a game like this. We've got a comment here for you. Dan Common says it's a shame, because Winterlord complimented my casting, and Dan Common says it's a shame you're competing with premier FxB Trumpet, aka best player of all time.
I appreciate it.
There you go. No, this is fun though, because I mean, you know a lot more than me.
Yeah,
but it's
Bomb
still
does
fun.
have to be careful. Goris has finally bought into the
scenario, and he's like, okay, it's owl time.
Yeah, that's 12 Owl Warrens. That is insane. Look at this. Look at this carnage. That is a lot of green. I don't know. This could do some real damage over here. Lose a couple squirrels or something.
The skunk cat is really influential.
Yeah. I'd like
Bomb
to see
is-
Goris sell off a few snakes, to be honest. I don't think they're really doing that much. Especially if it helps
Yep.
him get up his owls quicker.
Bomb
Those...
needs to go buy a farm before he starves to death.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is
Do it, boy.
important.
You got the money for it. They're right here. Take it. What are you doing?
All right, 30 seconds. You know, Bomb hasn't played in a long time. It's possible he's not paying attention to the star counter, which
Oh,
is
that would
terrifying.
be... Yeah, that'd be a shame to just die instantly. I think you got... Do you have to do it at
Yes.
20 seconds or you're out, or...
Well, he owns the mill, right? He owns the mill on the left, so he can always just buy a farm.
Oh, okay.
So he just needs to run over there at any moment.
Yeah, that skunk gas is gonna protect him pretty well. Yeah, do it, boy. Goris has
Okay, so-
all of the mills he
alright.
needs.
I believed. I never doubted Bomb.
Yeah, further... Well, hey, these, if you're alright with it, I'm gonna put these up on YouTube, so we've got record of you.
Not doubting.
Don't push! Don't push! There's a lot of balloons here, boy. Don't do it.
So the owl count goes to Bomb, but the skunks are putting in a lot of work.
Yeah, look at all of that skunk gas. There's no way the mice can push through that skunk gas field.
So the real problem for Bomb here is that he just doesn't have the income to keep up with the owl count forever. And
Right.
what he has to sell these like back balloons and stuff, but every time he does that, he's risking things going wrong and the mice getting on top of his skunks.
Right, because if the skunks go down for Bomb, it's game over. Since Goris is ahead on the owl count. I mean, he might just be going for like one farm at a time so he can win the starvation.
Yeah.
And Goris is actually going to lose if he does that because he only has 3 more to go.
The question is, can Bomb hold on against the extra owls that Goris is going to be able to get out, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm an idiot for suggesting Bomb sell his balloons, because the balloons might be his last stand if Goris starts starving.
Oh, he lost that balloon there. Nice catch. Yeah, and I think Goris is counting on a little extra income now to get some extra owls and push through, because Bomb will actually win. Now, there's still ferrets over here for Goris, so he needs to get a balloon up so that he can actually farm from this. I mean, we're kind of watching just constant back and forth here in the middle, but the actual game is going to be decided by that. And that.
I wonder how... An important decision for Goris here is how quickly is he going to commit to buying those farms? Because Bomb waited till there were 10 seconds left, right?
Yeah.
And that's optimizing, and there's 3 farms left for Goris that he hasn't started farming on.
Yeah.
So if Goris goes there and buys all of them or something like that too early.
Yeah, I think Bomb is making the correct decision here, that if he can just hang on forever, he's going to win that farm count with the way he's playing it.
All he's got to do is hang on forever.
Yeah, now, what I'd really like to see that'd be cool, and we've got a call for it with Kerpa in the chat, if Goris dives in with some of his snakes, he's got a lot of them, and he's got money to replace them. If he dives in and snake tags a couple owls, that
Even
could
the-
change, like, or even the skunks. Yeah, the skunks are getting a lot of value too. Oh, this isn't good. Lost.
Skunk gas is going to be a push.
Oh. Did we see any snake tags? Nope. I mean, because the snakes will die in the skunk gas, but not instantly. They could do some. They could get some value.
I think that it kills the owl. I think one of the owls is dead.
Nope,
Oh,
not
careless
quite.
drive. Okay,
Dang.
you need more than 3 snake tags to kill out. He should
just-
pull his owls around to like. Oh, one of the skunks dies. That's actually
So,
huge.
check this out. Bomb has nothing on the ground that can kill owls. He doesn't have any squirrels anymore. So, Goris can feel safe to kind of push forward a little bit with the owls. And
Nope. One thing Bomb could do is he could retreat to his balloons, right? Because it's a tiny amount of firepower,
Yeah.
but 2 balloons. Oh, and he buys another balloon. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
He-
I mean, I think he's
realized
working
the
with
same
this
thing.
choke here, which has been working out really well with that skunk gas. But,
Yeah.
because
If
he wouldn't
can
want the...
migrate his balloon positions.
Yeah. What?
Okay, so Goris is going to think about buying farms now.
Is he
He's
just
going
checking?
to scout. He wants to see how many farms Bomb has taken.
Yeah. I think Bomb is smart to stick with this spot, though. Like, in general, retreating to the balloons is smart, but if the choke suddenly becomes this super wide open spot, then this Warren could get hit by mice, and it's not quite as good of a position to hold. This is so crazy.
This is Tooth and Tail, ladies and gentlemen.
This is definitely the first owl fight I've seen, and certainly casted. I've never seen anything quite like this before. And the thing is, it wasn't guaranteed to get to this point either. They both kind of had to agree that they wanted it to go here, and use the balloons and the barbed wire to hold it off. So I don't think either player really is unhappy at the moment.
Yeah, it's both players just have to be careful. There's so many things that could go wrong if anyone starts losing units. Because right now they're so strapped for cash that, for example, if Bomb lost his skunks or Goris lost his snakes, any amount of them, that's just cutting into your bottom line.
Yeah, you see a skunk right there in Bomb's army did take damage, I think from a mouse. So he needs to be careful not to overextend into these balloons, or he might lose a skunk, and that would really make a difference. Yeah, Kerpa is saying, oh, here we go. Here you go, Kerpa. Goris is listening. This could really end the game really quick right here. Get those snake tags on those owls.
But if it actually pulls some mice.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Nice. That's not... I don't think that was the intended effect, but that did push Bomb back a second. And he has to pay attention to his starving timer, so his commander might be out for a second, trying to buy another farm.
Goris making these moves when it's close to starvation time is really smart.
Yeah, how does he know?
Well, it actually tells you when your opponent is close to start.
Ah, okay. Excellent. I want to see him do more with those snakes. That was a good little move, but... I mean, he's playing safe.
Clock for Bomb. Bomb is running to the other side.
Alright, he got his food. He's got his farm.
Okay. Goris is metering his farms.
Yeah, and if Bomb can't take this mill because the ferrets become part of the play, then Goris could be alright.
Yeah,
but if Bomb gets this mill, then...
An interesting factor in this game is the fact that you don't actually need to farm off of a farm to reset your starve timer. So Bomb can just buy it and buy one farm, and then if Goris kills the mill, as long as the farm got started, it'll reset Bomb's timer to 1 minute.
Oh.
So that
now he would have to have the mill finished, though. If he keeps buying the mill and it keeps dying before it's finished, then that counter never gets reset. Oh, here's the scout. That could have been a big deal, but it got killed.
Oh, is the skunk going to go down? The skunk is really low.
Yeah, pull it back. Pull it back. He's targeting it, and it gets pulled back. Wow, that was close.
It might still be in danger here, because these mice waves are getting tough.
Yeah, we got a point in the chat here. A lot of these mice aren't getting aggroed right, so... Some of course.
That's a good point. Either player has stacked their mice waves, which is like a common tactic.
Oh, that was well countered. We might lose a snake here. Maybe not. Yeah. I like the snake counters. It just hasn't quite hit at the right time quite yet.
It's really interesting because it pulls the mice waves, but then Bomb just retreats to his balloons, and it's just enough firepower for now to keep his everything alive.
Yeah, just barely. We got a couple of points of damage on those skunks. So it's a good tactic from Goris.
I like how we decided that we'd have Tooth and Tail matches in the final would be best of threes because Tooth and Tail games are fast.
Yeah. Okay, so if Goris did that snake thing right now, while the commander is gone, that could be deadly, because...
He's going for it. The Bomb will be back in time, it looks like.
Okay, yeah, he just barely missed the opportunity. Pulling away some of those mice. Oh, bad. Okay, he just barely doesn't lose a snake there. Yeah, if Goris had just been like a second sooner on that snake counter, he might have been able to do a little bit more, but... I can't imagine how intense this is for these players. And kind of exhausting, too, if this ends up going to Game 3.
Another thing to point out is that Bomb has farmed enough for another owl, technically. He wouldn't be able to buy it, but he could buy the Warren.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he needs to, though, because he's already 3 owls ahead.
Well, no, Bomb's down 3 owls.
Oh, yeah, right. My bad.
Goris has had money for owls for a while. He just doesn't want to buy them. I assume he's saving to buy farms.
Sure. Uh-oh.
Some whack.
Okay, I'm just getting nervous here. I'm checking my internet. This is like trench warfare right here. This trench, it's like a World War I kind of situation almost. So
Bomb's actually going to buy the mill, which is interesting.
Okay. I like it if he gets a balloon up to keep the ferrets away. I like that play. It's safe. Oh, wait, never mind. He thinks better of it. I can't wait to see the graph at the end of this game. Yeah, this is definitely, like, trench warfare right here. We've got a bunch of balloons, snipers on this side, and we've got a bunch of, like, chemical warfare on this side. And just how many mice have lost their zombie lives in this just swamp in the middle here. Fits the game pretty well, I think, the lore. Brutal. Alright, so let's take stock on the farm situation. Bomb still doesn't have to worry about this mill because he's still got one more farm to go, and that can sustain him for another 5 minutes. Goris has got 10 minutes, basically, before he has nothing. So I think Bomb just has to get this and then wait 10 minutes, and he wins.
Yeah, Goris must be counting on being able to snipe the mill with the ferrets.
Yeah. If he can pull... Oh, what is this? What is this?
Where are they going?
Did he accidentally click? If that was a misclick, then this could really... I mean, I guess Bomb doesn't really have anything to kill those balloons, though, so...
The interesting thing is that actually is going to stack the mice, and this might be good for Goris.
Oh, we might get a skunk killed off.
It's not going to be enough.
Nope, not quite enough. All right.
Goris is going for it.
He's going for... I mean, there's nothing really that can kill us. Oh, he did lose an owl there. Okay.
He's rebuilding an owl.
Yeah, he had the money to rebuild because one of the sniper bullets took out an owl.
Which, I mean, that should be fine. Interesting decision from Goris to push there, I don't know. Might just be getting impatient. It's been a 25-minute game.
Impatient or desperate, because he knows this is all the time he has left.
I still think playing for the ferret snipe on the mill is the way to go. Just keep trying to snipe it before it finishes, so that there's just not enough time for Bomb to get the starvation counter reset.
Right. I'm kind of in favor of a well-timed push with a mice stack and a snake split. Like, if you can get the snakes out again and actually do something with them. That's kind of where I'm leaning, but we'll have to see.
This is risky from Bomb. Bomb has 30 seconds on the clock, and he's baiting dances from his opponent.
Kerpa says he thinks Goris can just A-move. I mean, because those snakes, if he A-moves, the snakes could take out the balloons, and then nothing can kill the owls from Goris. So I think you might be right, but it is risky.
Bomb has 9 seconds on the clock. Bomb has 8 seconds on the clock. Why isn't Bomb going to buy a farm?
He needs to. Get this farm. He's going to lose. He's not watching. Where is he at? Where's his commander?
No!
Oh, man. Yeah, I think Goris had the edge there. He had 2 or 3 different ways he could have won that. And Bomb just petered out. Man, that was an insane long game. Are we playing tooth and tail right now, guys? Games aren't supposed to be this long. Well played. Did we have a 2-0 there? I lost count in the half hour.
2-0, so...
2-0, alright.
Need for TRG.
Well played, Bomb. Well played, Goris. Goris is a monster. Alright, good representation from both teams here. So we have 2 points on the table for the Toad Road gang, and we have 1 point for FxB. So let's see. Darius versus Kerpa. You did it for the memes, Goris. Well, you are in the meme clan. A formal apology? What happened there, Bomb? Did the commander die? I couldn't find it for a second there.
No, he just didn't look at the timer.
Dang. You know, I don't blame you, though. That was pretty intense in the middle there. Excellent play, though. Now, it was interesting how I called at the beginning of the game that Goris would be able to outlast, but then he farmed all of his stuff soon enough that he actually was the one behind on the starvation counter. Yeah, Bomb, I think Goris had a couple of different ways Yeah, right. The ferrets are scary. Goris had a couple of different ways he could have pulled out of that one. But, yeah, that was crazy. All right, if we want to hold off, I'm going to actually join, let's see, switch to player. Okay, just hold off for a second. I'm going to be right back. I just have to use the bathroom. I've got a cute little break screen, and I'll be right back. All right, the return of the host, Tandordraco. Tandordraco. I don't really care which pronunciation. I've heard both. I'm cool with both. Here we are. And I'm going to pop back to Observer here. Kerpa's in, ready to go. All right. Guys, we've got match 4. Match 4, and we've got Darius Hart for, let's see. Darius Hart is in the FxB, and Kerpa Funny Symbols 100, more funny symbols, I think it's just Kerpa 100 or Kerpa, is representing the Toad Road Gang. So if Kerpa takes this, Toad Road Gang gets to win this exhibition match. Otherwise, we go to the ace match.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Darius play. He's our first, it's the debut of our first Tooth and Tail pickup. So we recruited a player for Tooth and Tail, which is...
Oh, nice.
We recruited 2 players. We recruited Darius and we recruited Epicosity.
Yes, so, I saw that. Now, I believe Darius has the distinct honor of being the second Tooth and Tail person to be on my stream ever. First or second. I believe Trumpet was the first, and Darius, I believe, was the second. So in my mind, anyway, oh, look at that. He's going for a bit of a rush here. Or they both are. Are you kidding me? They're both doing a 5-farm single.
These feel like safety warrens, more or less. I guess Darius has lizards, so he might be trying to pick off a mill.
Yeah, but it's not going to work super well if Kerpa keeps this this warren up. He's going to be able to defend a little better. Let's see how he scouts this. We've got a little bit of a discussion after that last game between Bomb and Goris. Lots of respect for both those players, for sure. Okay, so both of these players are kind of toying with this early aggression and or trying to fend off the early aggression. And if nothing happens, I'm giving Darius Hart the advantage because he has that extra farm, right? Kerpa's kind of over-defending, maybe?
Yeah, sorry, I haven't been paying a ton of attention. I'm managing some...
No, that's all right.
...in the ranks.
Yeah, that's all right. So Kerpa looks like was a little bit over-defending, and so he got a touch behind in the farm count. Darius Hart didn't quite commit, which was smart. Let's see here what this lizard harass can do. Lizards have the they have a faster speed, so they can kind of sneak around and do some damage, but they can also get killed. So pulling back, and we have a standard game now. 8 farm, 3 warrens, and Darius has gotten up to some skunks here. That, as far as length of tournament games, that's the longest one I've casted for sure.
Yeah, generally they don't go that long, but you know, Owl is in the game.
Yeah.
Now, looking at these decks, I really like Darius's deck relatively to Kerpa's, but Kerpa has a lot of scaling potential. Badger, Falcons, obviously.
Yeah, both of those make really good late game units. Whereas Darius doesn't really have a great end game army. Doesn't have any tier 3s or the Falcons.
Look at this push from Kerpa, though. Really interesting, because there's Squizzard Skunk, which is going to push us away pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's a pure squirrel push.
Yeah, that's a lot of squirrels, but against Skunk Squirrel, it's just not going to work.
Yeah. And we'll see if this mill tanking... Kerpa buys the mill to get some tanking support. Which is smart. It's going to help a lot.
Yep.
He sold it, but he only gets 3 food back, so it's not really a great exchange.
Yeah, he kind of just lost the food there.
There's a timing window here for Darius. The skunks are putting in a lot of work. Lots of good micro from Darius, making sure the skunk cast goes down on the units.
Yeah, this is a pretty scary push. Darius might just take it here.
Yeah, if Warrens start dying, this is going to be tough for Kerpa.
Well, even if pigs die, then yeah. Just losing enough economy. Good game.
That was a refreshing, fast game.
That's how Tooth and Tail games are supposed to go, folks. Alright. So it looks like the same deck from Darius here. It did work for him, so he's going for an earlier aggression, kind of a tier 2 timing, or a... He's got all 3 tier 1 options. The Squizzode. What is that what they...
Sure, that's definitely what they say, 100%.
Sure, alright. So in the left with the Squizzode and then a bunch of tier 2s, we've got Darius Hart. And in the right, with more normal meta deck, we've got Kerpa. He's got the Owl for late game in the right. And I'm less familiar with these players, but again, we've got Darius Hart is for FxB.
Correct.
And Kerpa is for TRG. So if Kerpa takes this game, then the exhibition match is over, and we've got ourselves a clan winner for the exhibition match.
Well, Darius is up 1-0, right? So.
Oh, that's right, my bad. Darius is up 1. Yep. Okay, so if Darius takes this one, we go to the ace match.
Lots of early Warren metagaming going on, selling and stuff. And Darius is not buying into it. Darius says, if you're going to sell your Warren to buy farms, what if I just build another Warren? Which, I like that theory.
Sure, yeah. It's a lot of mind games and a little bit of chicken from both players. Neither one really wants to commit to a full rush, and neither one wants to commit to full farms until now.
Yeah. Darius, this is so interesting, because Darius built the second Warren as if he wants to push, but then he farmed up anyway. But now Kerpa's down a farm. It's like nothing has happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah, although I think... So this farm just got bought, and this farm just got bought, so I think it's going to even out here.
Yeah, pushing with squirrels against lizards is hard here, because in open territory, the lizards will do really well.
Yeah, and if the lizards win, the squirrels can't retreat, because they'll just get picked off.
Yeah.
Okay, mine placement there.
Oh, if the squirrels don't get home, this could be a big deal.
Yeah, we're going to lose a squirrel here. And the lizard. Yeah. Getting some toads. Toads are a good counter for lizards. Am I right?
Yeah, they're pretty strong. The issue here is that the mine will change the formula for how this fight goes out if the mine plays a role, you know.
Yeah, especially early game when one mine can really kill basically the whole army or weaken the whole army of the other player. What is the income graph? We've got Y. There we go. Income, it's pretty even. Darius Hart was ahead for a chunk, and then Kerpa was ahead for a chunk, and we're pretty even now. Army graph, Kerpa's ahead. Thanks for that. Now Darius Hart is going up and getting a tier 2 here. He's decided chameleons are the way to go. Which
Chameleon Squirrel Toad is a really nice combination.
Okay.
This is similar to remember the Winterload Draz game, or no Winterload VK game where Winterload had Squirrel Toad.
Yeah.
This is more in the vein of what I was expecting of what is really strong against Wizard.
Sure. Now it kind of feels to me like Darius Hart is kind of making the decisions, and Kerpa has to respond. For example, Darius Hart could have gone Skunk and done a similar push as last game, where he could go Chameleon, which is a bit of a different feeling.
Yeah.
Whereas Kerpa's going to be stuck reacting, so it looks like he's gotten a couple of Skunks. He's going to get a couple of Falcons, which is a good choice against Chameleons. Now Kerpa is ahead on that 9th farm there.
Kerpa's ahead economically, and if the game goes long, this is really good for Kerpa because he has owls. Yeah. He has an option.
Now this is a scary push, and he scared it off with a single skunk. Very nice. Bomb is a bomb. I was just going to mention earlier you mentioned the War in the North, Lord of the Rings War in the North. I have played that a little bit. It was a little buggy on the PC I was running, and it would crash, but I did play that with both of my brothers, and it was kind of fun. It's a shame to hear that it's not really sold anymore. That's all I wanted to mention. I'll have to look into that. If I see it anywhere, I'll hit you up. Okay, so Kerpa does have his tier 2 units out. I'm curious to see what he... Okay, more Falcons. Interesting. What do you think of that decision there?
All right, well, I've remained silent on the issue until now, but I have to say, at least one time in the stream, that I think Falcons are bad.
All right, you heard it here, folks. Falcons are bad. And as Trumpet is the best player in the world, can't really argue.
Well, you know, if I had come from a different tooth and tail background, and I hadn't been trained by the wise pillow, I might like Falcons, but he has ingrained in me that they're terrible, so...
Right. Well, I definitely, in this situation, see your point. I like Darius Hart getting a diversity of tier 2 units to go with... I mean, he's got, like, some of everything, which is really interesting.
All that being said, Kerpa's been ahead economically. He's been building into his tier 2. He's building into the composition he wants.
Yeah.
The game plan is going fine for Kerpa, and it definitely feels like Darius needs to get something done, and this Chameleon Harass is a way to do it.
Yeah, There's 60 food.
That's high level right there.
That's 180 food just gone. And even if those 2 Chameleons die, which they might, that's still an advantage to Darius Hart. He killed 180 food and lost 120.
That was actually really well done by Kerpa, the way he stood in that choke point waiting, because the reveal timer actually takes a really long time now. So
Yep. Yeah,
here comes a huge engagement. This engagement will actually decide the game.
The Chameleons being gone really helped Kerpa take a lead in that fight, but it wasn't quite enough.
Okay, the mines are still in play.
Yeah, this could hurt. He's got to stand here and reveal.
He was just a little bit behind.
Yeah, so he ate the mine anyway. Now, I was going to say that Falcons are pretty good in the late game. Like a 6-8 Falcon, 6-8-10 Falcons in a Death Ball is pretty good. That's the only place I would disagree with you on your general statement. But in this kind of like mid-game push, I think you're right. Kerpa's not really getting a lot of value from his Falcons.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for Darius because just looking at the... Just because Kerpa was ahead economically, he was able to rebuild faster.
Yeah.
This feels like it was on the like a razor's edge this game.
Yeah, look at that army graph. It's just like really close.
Yeah, it feels like now Kirpa's going to pull away with it, so it seems really hard for Darius to make up for ground. He has units that can make stuff happen. He has Skunk and Toad, so like he can engage in a good choke. He can get good Toad connections.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that from that attack is, after this Chameleons picked off those farms, there was the counterattack, and actually these 2 farms were lost in that counterattack, so it was kind of a tit for tat kind of I got your farms too thing.
Which Darius knows that he's behind, so he's just going to fully farm up and just like hope that the game moves on. Because if he fully farms up and then gets to a stage where their armies can clash and it's a fair trade, then that's a possible way back in.
Yeah, that is not a good engagement for Darius. Now, it's funny you said that because as far as their decks go, Kirpa has a better scaling deck, so Darius didn't really want to have to be in that position where he has to wait to get the advantage again. So
Darius wanted snake tags on that Falcon for so long, and he never got them.
Yeah.
So, and now he just doesn't have the income. It's just
he's just having to sell stuff. Kirpa definitely has the advantage here. As long as he doesn't blow it, I think he can definitely take this game. Draz says FxB as a whole hates Falcons. Draz, are you saying that as you agree with the statement, or are you like the one member that wishes FxB didn't hate Falcons?
Draz also hates Falcons.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. I'm learning so much today. I like Falcons, but I realize that they're absolute garbage in a tier 2 fight. Yeah, they are only like really good in the late game. That's my thought anyway.
Yeah, the problem is that they just don't have a lot of HP, so you get, and their DPS is like relatively similar to 3 squirrels, which is how a Falcon costs.
Right.
So
just they have to use their advantage by being a flying unit and countering something, or be protected by something tanking up in front of them. Or there's just so much of them that they can kill anything anyway, but I mean, in RTS, if you have more stuff than your opponent, you win. Even if it's the wrong stuff, if you have enough more of it, you just win.
And you're welcome to disagree with my take on Falcons.
Oh, sure. Well, no, I definitely respect it because you've got more experience behind it than I do.
It's kind of a religious debate, you know?
There's quite a few of those in the Clan Wars. So, Darius Hart is kind of pulling for the long game here, like you were saying. I'd love to see Kirpa just pop an owl, because Darius Hart has to wait. And waiting means there's time to get a tier 3 out and just crush, but he's a better player than me, so we'll see.
Yeah, just looking at the compositions, I feel like the only real path forward for Darius is Chameleon Squizzard. And try to build up before an owl.
Right. Oh, he's going to try this chameleon thing again. Oh, that's a nope.
That's 20 food. That's value.
That's true. That's true. That wasn't nothing. But it didn't get the value he wanted out of it.
Exactly.
Now, Zenzedge says Falcons absolutely need to have the first strike in an engagement. Yeah, so like using their flying trait to like hide on high ground to get the first shot is kind of necessary, right?
Yeah, and also they take forever to take another shot. So like, if you screw up the like micro with them, they just don't get a lot of DPS in.
Right, like if they biff that first shot, then they're just complete trash.
If they hit like targets that don't matter, like if they're hitting tier 1 and you have a big tier 1 ball, and you're like tier 3 or tier 2 is fine, then.
Oh, he's trying to squeeze an entire army through that tiny little choke there. His army is an octopus.
So Darius is just constantly trailing in this game, right?
Yeah, let me check those graphs again. Yeah, so it looks like ever since that first engagement there, Darius is just like slightly behind.
Because we've kind of crawled through this game like one step at a time, and neither player can kill each other.
Yeah.
There is the important thing to note, which is that Darius has a mill behind him.
Right? Yes, absolutely, that's true. We've got this map has 7 mills, and it's on Darius' side. And it looks like the army graph and the income is evened out. They're tied in army, and the income is actually slightly Darius favored. So the only thing Kirpa has in his advantage is maybe a better composition.
Yeah, and this owl is going to be hard, right? Like,
Darius probably needs the economy from the other mill fast. Like he needs to start building up that farm
Look
count.
at you go. Look at you go, Trumpet. You're a genius. So
like he needs to build it because he has no real option against the owls, right? He needs to build up a squirrel lizard count that is large enough that it can make up the difference and do like a big bust against the owls.
yeah, if he can get something going, because these owls are, one is paid for, and those aren't farming yet.
It's not the end of the world if the owls get out, but if they get out before Darius has farmed at all.
Yeah. Now Darius is ahead in both income and army value right now.
Yeah,
That's not enough to attack, right? Because of the mines.
It is a funny result of him taking that base later because he was behind, is that he gets to mine off of it further, longer.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really think... So Darius, because of the early game, needed the game to drag out, but Kurt, because of his deck, needs the game to drag out, so...
I don't think Darius has seen the owls, I think is why he's playing the way he is. As far as he knows, it's a tier 2 versus tier 2 game.
Right. Now, if he did know about the owls, how is his composition for fighting against owls? Like, he has a lot of stuff.
It's pretty bad. He needs more skunks. He needs more squizzard. Chameleon skunk might be able to clear a few waves. The problem is he has 6 snakes, which aren't super useful in this situation.
We saw in the last match how good skunks were against the owl situation, and that's like the thing he has the least of.
I think what happened is he didn't see the owls, right? So he assumed a tier 3 might be on the way. So snakes kind of cover some of that ground, right?
Yeah.
Like it could be boar, it could be badger.
He's about to find out now, and it's not just one owl; it's 2. So this Darius might be just thinking, "Oh shoot, I have the wrong thing."
Is he gonna put the army though? We'll see.
There's a lot of skunk gas from both sides here. A little more for blue, and it looks like Darius's army is just dying. It's just losing. We've got a couple low health falcons that are still doing their damage. A lot of skunk gas, a lot of mice. Karp is not overextending here, is he?
No, I think he's got this.
Yeah. Good calls on that. I think that's the weakness of a deck that is only tier 1 and 2 is if you get into a later game. Like, look at that army graph. Kerpa was a little ahead, and then Darius lost, like, everything, and Kerpa had way more. Well played. So is that 1-1 then in this match?
Yep.
So this is FxB's last life.
Okay, so if FxB wins this, if Darius takes this for FxB, we go to the ace match, and I assume both the leaders of the clans have a player picked out.
I believe so. I'm playing for FxB.
But if Kerpa takes this, then we have ourselves a close win for the Toad Road gang. Let's get some cheers in the chat here. Not cheers, that's a technical term, but spam some love in the chat for Kerpa. He's over here on the top left. Kerpa in the blue, representing the Toad Road gang, the Memer clan. And then over here in the top right, we've got Darius Hart. They've each won a game here. Darius Hart is representing FxB's last life. And look at these decks.
Yep, we have a Wolf Owl deck. Always nice to see. This is if my Wolf Owl gets out and you have a deck that doesn't have a good way of dealing with it, then it's over. Also, It's just one of the best scaling comps in the game.
Sure. Whereas Boar is more of a timing thing. If he gets the Boar out early enough, then that could be really scary, right? What are we doing here? We've got a 6-farm, 2-Warren rush from Darius Hart.
Yeah, so this is the same opener as last time. And I think it would be reasonable for Darius to pull the trigger and just run across the map when Kerpa goes 1 Warren and Darius goes 2 Warren.
Yeah.
But I totally get saying this game attacking is hard. We're just gonna chill. We're not gonna do it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I am a big fan of Kerpa's response by getting 3 Warrens. Like, it seems to me that he's nervous enough that he kind of over-defends. Like, you only really need 2 Warrens to defend against 2 Warrens, right?
with Warren tanking and pigs, yeah, you're probably okay. You still want to be careful because if they come with 9 versus 6, they can focus fire squirrels.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So like you don't need them immediately. Eventually, you do want to match them though.
Yeah.
If you can expand and have a mill in front, that's something I like. This is interesting.
Yeah, and they're pretty even now. This has kind of worked out to be pretty close to even. All right, we've got skunks coming out pretty quick from Darius Hart.
So the idea behind Darius's deck is basically exactly the same as Draz's deck. You just swap out the snakes for falcons, and you swap out the balloon for barbed wire.
Right. So is the point to... He's not trying to push with those skunks. He's trying to be safe with the skunks until he can get up his wolf owl.
Yeah. Okay, we've got a skunk from Kerpa as well. I feel like the issue for Darius in this deck match-off is that Darius doesn't have Snake, and Snake is obviously super strong against Boar. So
right.
You'll need... And you don't have Balloon to set up a defensive position against the Boar. So you really need like your Falcon Ball to get good shots against the Boar, which is true.
And Falcons do technically counter the Boar, but the Boar is going to be accompanied by Squizzard, which can deal with Falcons plenty fine, right?
And it looks like Kerpa's going to rush into the Boar as well.
Yeah,
so,
and Darius Hart, on the other hand, has got a bigger economy.
Yeah, so having a good eco and farming up hard here is really good for Darius, but he needs to have a response to the Boar that is able to deal with it, and that could be a lot of things. That could be a lot of units and skunks. That could be falcons. I guess those are his two options.
And barbed wire is not really going to help in that particular situation.
Yeah. It's not hugely useful. Darius is really hesitant to scout hard here. What's he gonna build? Falcons. Okay, that's something.
He hasn't been scouting yet, so he needs to get over there and look at what's up.
Yeah, he's up 3 farms though, so.
Yeah, but that doesn't do any good if he doesn't know there's a boar coming, right?
Yeah, well, if you're up 3 farms and you're building into Falcon,
yeah,
that's really reasonable.
That's true. Okay, Kerp is going with pigeons. Looks like he's going to try to keep that boar alive instead of kind of bombing it.
He built a wolf here. Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. Yeah, don't build it.
He sells it in farms. He's being really tricky, right? He's being tricky, but you can't trick someone who, at the first moment of the game, decided they were going to play one base board.
Yeah, right. Like, what is Kerp's response? Like, oh, I'll just continue doing what I've already been doing. Like, yeah, that wolf is going to be way later. And Darius Hart still only has 1 Falcon Warren. If he had gone a couple more Falcons instead, he'd be a little better shape, right?
I agree.
Yeah, there it is. So this is not quite an all-in push, but it really has to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, at this point, I honestly feel like massing squirrels is something Darius could do. I know squirrels are bad against the board.
Well, you need something.
Yeah, you're not going to have these Falcons out in time for the board push.
Yeah. Got to mass something. And the barbed wire isn't really going to do that much, because you've got pigeons and a boar.
Yeah, the wolf started, right? So if he doesn't push forward here with units, yeah, this is actually really good because the boar needs other units to come forward.
Yeah.
To with the barbed wire. So like that moment is really interesting, right? Because we know Kerpa has an army that could maybe win the game if he busts through there.
Yeah.
But there's also Falcons overhead, and there's barbed wire, and all your units are getting stuck on it.
I mean, there's a hole right here. He could have gone for that.
You know that he was like turning the numbers in his head, and he's like, I don't know what's going to work.
Yeah.
And because it's so hard to attack, when you make decisions like that, it's like, it's just like the most intense moment.
Sure, yeah. And now the wolf is out, and Darius Hart has put a lot of money into these barbed wire lines. Now, I don't know why he missed that one spot, but whatever. Kerpa, on the other hand, responded by saying, you know what, I'm not going to win with this push. I'm just going to farm up. And he is now ahead on farms by quite a chunk.
Yeah, but the wolf will help out.
Oh, that's right, because it boosts the pigs, doesn't it?
Yeah. And if you go to the income tab, I don't think it even increases if you have a wolf out, because it's actually just counting how many farms you have.
Right, well, and the pigs will farm out sooner, too. So it's not like he gets more food, he just gets it faster.
Right.
So he has to do something with it, otherwise he's just...
Yeah. Now, what he could do with this is buy owls.
Now look at this army graph, though. Kerpa's not doing anything yet. He's getting a 3rd base, but Darius Hart has a big army lead. Maybe it's counting the barbed wire too much, but you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's tin food for barbed wire. It's probably not counting it enough, if you ask me.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. Well, I mean, he's got his Falcon Ball. He's paid for, or he's bought the Owl Warren, whereas Kerpa's trying to get his own Falcon Ball. This is interesting. And we've got exactly 6 Warrens on the map, so it's not like there's an extra Warren to one player. This one looks like it's really far away to the viewers. This farm looks like it's super far away from the rest of Kerpa's stuff, but the entrance to this area is right there, so it's not actually that bad.
Now, the owls will be out, and Boar, Skunk, Falcon can clear Mice Waves just fine. But
yeah,
the longer this game goes on, Darius is just going to build more and more owls.
Yeah, and if Darian sets himself up for a starvation counter, that barbed wire is going to start to help him out, really. If Kerpa has to push through it, the barbed wire starts to pay for itself again.
So it looks like Kerpa is just going to build into Falcons, right? And go for like a huge, like, I have Falcons, I'm going to shoot the mice and be okay. But the problem is, Darius has equal number of Falcons. So it's like, seems Darius, I must say.
If Darius didn't have the Falcons, then Kerpa's Falcons could fly over the barbed wire and do something, but good point, where they both just have 8 Falcons, so they kind of cancel each other out. I like how he's positioning them over here. Like, he could do some kind of weird flank where he brings the rest of his army over here, grabs that, and then when he goes for an attack, the Falcons come in from a different angle. That would be kind of hard to do, though.
Yeah, he had to do that before the extra Falcons popped, and now that he had to rally, that's been reset. But it's a good idea. Just, like, you do it just in case you can use it. You don't assume you can.
All right, let's see what he can do with these lizards here. If he catches a couple of pigs unawares, that could be nice.
He goes in and scouts first.
He's got to jump on it, or it's not going to be any good.
I think he decided not to, because the barbed wire, even though there is a small hole, most of the lizards will run through the barbed wire anyway, just because of how they
So
work.
is he just going to use this as a flanking maneuver now? Ooh, this
like
could hurt. Now the flank is going to go right through those barbed wire if he's not careful.
The boar goes down. The flank goes nil.
Now there's multiple owls out for Darius Hart. Nice lizard flank, though. I don't know if it's quite enough damage, but he did take out that mill, so...
And Darius needs to be careful not to lose that owl.
Yeah. Now, Kerpa did some damage, but he has no army now, so... Darius is just charging right in, appropriately, I think.
Darius.
And the Falcons are dying, because by themselves they suck.
And that looks like it's going to be the game, and we're probably going to go to an ace match.
Alright, this is exciting, guys. So, it looks like Darius Hart's just going to win this game, and then we get to hear who the ace match picks are, and I'm going to guess that our friend Trumpet here is one of them. But that's my guess, I don't know. Yeah, Kipo, I think you're right. The lizards would have helped in the fight, and he was instead counting on that counterattack. Look at that army graph. He just dropped everything there. Good game. Well played. So, 2-1. Darius Hart takes this match 2-1, and it is 2 points to FxB and 2 points to the Toad Road gang. So, let's see our ace match. Winterlode, the leader of the Toad Road gang, is placing the blame on the lack of toads. Which, yeah, fair, I suppose. Alright, guys, we're starting to come to the end here. We've just got one more ace match. This is going to be really cool. One best of 3 to determine the fate of this entire exhibition match. So, each clan is going to field their best player. Absolute best player they can pull up here. And we could see a champion in about 15 minutes, depending on how this goes. Or it could be another 35-minute game.
I'm going to hop out of voice because I'm the ace player for FxB.
Alrighty. Thanks for casting with me. If you're down to cast later at 6, I'll be here.
Let me get back to you.
Sure. Sure thing, yep.
Alright, thanks. Take care.
Alrighty. So is it going to be Trumpet versus Darius Hart? I don't know, Bum. You might be right. Let's see what we've got. I haven't seen Trumpet play in a while. I'm really excited. He is definitely a very, very good player, though. So right after this, I'm gonna actually see if I can release this as a YouTube video. So if anybody wants to go over these games, if the clans wanna... Oh, Darius Hart's out. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Now, Trumpet hasn't played yet, but it doesn't have to be someone who hasn't played it. They could, TRG could, or not TRG, excuse me. Yeah, TRG. TRG could pull out a player that's already played today. Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Dress. I'm not a member of either of these clans, so I get a little mixed up here. All right, let's see. Trumpet is Goliath here. Who's going to be the little David? Take him out. David with the sling stone. Or sling and stone, whatever. You know what I mean. Thanks everybody for tuning in and watching this match. This is really cool. It looks like it's been going pretty well, so I think this format is going to work for the Clan Wars. It's going to start in January. Announcements on the Discord. Kipo is kind of one of the guys running it, Kipo and Horace. I think we're just waiting for a pick from the Toad Road gang. Who are they going to pick? Who are they going to field against Trumpet, aka Goliath? The two high-level players we've seen from them today are Goris and Kerpa. I don't know, I'd kind of like to see Goris come out here. What are predictions in the chat if we got Goris against Trumpet? I think Trumpet is ranked higher in the Camel ranking, but Trumpet is scary. Yeah, all right, Goris. Trumpet is, I mean, he's named after the best instrument in the world, the trumpet, so... 9-0. We're not even playing a best out of whatever that would have to be. What is that? Best out of 17? We're not even playing that, but you're saying he would still do a 9-0. Wait, ace match is a best of 1? Are you serious? No way. It doesn't matter. Trumpet wins 9-0 every game, every format. Wait, are you guys serious? This is best of 1? That's insane in Tooth and Tail. Confirmed? What do you mean confirmed? You make the rules. Let me look at this. I don't believe you. I know you're in charge, but I don't believe you. Format. Right here. Nuh-uh. Look at this. Horace the Holy. Each season, teams will compete in a series of matches. Matches consist of 4 best-of-3 sets with a possible 5th best-of-3 ace match. Boom. Unless that was changed. Check out the format. Are you trolling me? Come on. Come on. It says right here, 5th best-of-3 ace match. You want to determine the entire clan's fate on a best-of-1. Did you change it for this match? I mean, I guess it's an exhibition match. TRG has come to a decision. Alright, Goris, you got this. I believe in you. All right, let's see how this match goes. One match to determine the entire fate of the clans. Bomb is the Mom is down with a prediction. Game 1 goes 9-0 Trumpet. I mean, in these smaller formats, best of 1s and best of 3s are both like, it could kind of go either way. And that's true for all RTSs. The more games in a series, the more likely that the better player overall is going to come out on top. So this could definitely go either way. Good luck to both these players. Let's see what they pull out. This deck is going to do it. Trumpet's pulling out Squizzard, going into a Boar late game. And looks like Goris is also going Squizzard into Boar. Boar Fox. Okay, we haven't seen Fox yet today. Let's see what we can do. Alright, I'll check my Discord here in a second. So we've got Trumpet in the far right, representing FxB, the champion, trying to break the tie. And we've got Lacey, aka Goris, in the left. Never mind this empty patch here. Representing the Toad Road gang, the meme gang. And you know what? I think, Bomb, you're right, because Goris did not get Toads. And he is the Toad Road gang, so I think this match is over, guys. That's it. We're gone. Alright, just kidding. Let's see where this goes. I'm gonna check the Discord real quick. Cool. Thanks, Kipo. So this is a best of one. Right here, the Toadless Toad Gang member. But he has a fox. So we got 8 farms from both of these players. Is he actually playing a mind game here where Trumpet would expect him to have toads, but he doesn't? This is definitely a bit of a gambit. So FxB is taking a fast expansion with no army at all. Let's see what Goris does. Can he scout this? Yeah, he sees it. What is he going to do? That is greedy play from Trumpet, but he's got the skills to back it up. So Goris is going to take his right away. All right, Winterload says it's all part of the plan, and he's the leader. So Toad Road Gang is going to have to fall in line. All right, so we've both got 2 Warrens here. Oh, 3rd Warren down for Goris. Trumpet has a couple of farms up. Let's see where this goes. A little bit of scary micro there. Trumpet is definitely well protected here, with enough squirrels to hang on. Excuse me. Here, I'll hold the toad. I'm going to cheer for Goris here for a moment. And I've got the toad, representing the Toad Road Gang. Not my clan, but you know what? Respect. Here's the toad. I don't have a name for him yet. The mascot of my channel is a toad. Alright, so let's see what we've got here. We've got 4 Tier 1 Warrens from both of these players. 3 farms here. 4 farms there, so I think Trumpet is just slightly ahead here. 5th Warren here. So yeah, we've got 5 Tier 1 Warrens. Where's the 5th one over here? Oh, there it is. Hiding behind the mill. This is interesting. They're both going for really similar strategies here. The large road. You know what? I'm not familiar with this. This is the road path, right? So everything moves faster on it? Not just toads get road, but lizards get road and boars get roads too. Alright, so we've got... He's trying to kill off the commander here, but he gets a... Trumpet gets a full scout before getting killed here. We've got Skunk Warren down, whereas Trumpet already has his Chameleon Warren finished. And Goris is going with the Falcon. And we know that Trumpet thinks Falcons are bad, so let's see what happens. Everything moves at toad speed on roads. I thought it was actually everything moves at road speed on roads, and toads move at road speed everywhere. Maybe this is the Toad Road, even though there's no toads in the match. Maybe the road is actually made of toads. And that is a prophecy that Goris is going to win. He's going for a sneaky expansion up here. And Trumpet has got the Tier 3 Warren down. And he's got Chameleons to back it up. I don't know if this is going to get scouted. He's got a lot of stuff kind of blocking the... doing a lot of damage to the commander to block the scout. And... yeah, I don't know. And he's got a big economy behind it, so I think that Tier 3 is going to do a lot of damage. And he's going to scout this. I don't know. This is not looking good for Goris. He needs to scout this Tier 3. Not even close. Also not close. So... I think we're just waiting for this Tier 3 to come out and see how that goes. Goris has 2 different Tier 3s in his deck that he could put down, but at this point I think it'd be too late. The boar has been paid for. And Goris puts down his own boar, but I don't think he knows that the other boar is already down and paid for, so this could turn into a nasty push from Trumpet. He just put down a lot of lizard warrens, 24 lizards. So that's 8 lizard warrens. And falcons, I don't know if that's quite the right counter to this, so we'll have to see. This is going to be a pretty deadly push. Goris is continuing to farm up over here, getting a little extra economy. Just ensuring that if this push from Trumpet does not work, Goris is going to be ahead. But he doesn't have any structures to help out here. It's just going to be relying on his skunk, falcon, squizzard composition. Here comes the boar. Is Trumpet going to push into this? We've got Squizzard on both sides. Let's see how the Squizzard micro goes. And it looks like Trumpet is setting up for some kind of base trade. If he has enough of these grist mills, then... Oh, there we go. The boar has been revealed. He might have had to commit on that. Let's see. This is not looking good for Goris. His army is just melting. The boar is torching everything. And it looks like Trumpet is about to take this game for FxB. He's just torching all of the warrens. Yeah, I think Goris is just... He's got his boar, but I think this is far too late. He's lost all of his economy. Yep. And Trumpet's boar even survives the other boar's explosion. Alright, GG. Trumpet wins 9-0 for FxB.